Europe just cracked the door wide open on chain. The EU stamped approval on EMT, and suddenly tokenization and wholesale bank settlements are a go. We're watching banks and major players get ready to pump billions straight through chain. Tokenization? It just crossed over from buzzword territory into legit working rails. I'm about to unpack what this shift might unleash across the crypto landscape, and yeah, Ripple and XRP are definitely in the spotlight here. I've got mountains of research piled up that I'm going to tear through with you right now, so you're fully dialed in. Let's just rip into it. Europe's tokenization market reaches 1.19 billion in 2025 and is projected to hit 4.25 billion by 2033. Wait, hold up, that sounds off. They're saying we'll barely 3x over 8 whole years? Come on, who's crunching these estimates? Okay, pulling it back together. Regulations and demand for secure digital payments and asset tokenization are driving growth. But real talk here, that's definitely gotta be wrong. There's zero chance we're limping to a 3x in 8 years. That's only hitting 4 billion. Tokenization of bonds is moving from experimentation to early-scale production in both the EU and globally, with several $1 billion worth of bonds and treasuries already issued on blockchain and rapidly growing institutional infrastructure around them. The new system is forming as a DLT layer that interoperates with today's CSDs, payment rails, and central bank money rather than abruptly replacing them. Market size and growth. Globally, tokenization is estimated to be around $6 billion USD of revenue of 2025 and projected to approach $29 billion USD by 2030. Hang on. So these numbers are tracking revenue, not how much value is actually going to sit on chain. EU regulatory rails for tokenized bonds. EU's DLT pilot regime has been live since 2023. Creating a sandbox that lets market infrastructure trade and settle tokenized securities, including bonds, under exemptions of MiFID II and CF. The pilot initially runs to 2026, with a possible 3-year extension. On the ESMA and the Commission have publicly indicated their interest in making DLT features for permanent and widening eligible instruments. Making DLT features permanent. EU actual tokenized bond activity in 2025 European bond tokenization report tracks about 1.7 billion in tokenized digital bonds issued in 2024 alone, led by deals in Germany, France, Italy, and Luxembourg, and notes that Europe accounts for more than half of global tokenized fixed income issuance volume, and this is about 3 billion 2024. Examples include same Siemens Euro-Dominator digital bond in Germany's EWPG framework, French and Italian state-linked institutions issuing digital bonds, and platforms such as Clearstream, D7 Oswite, HSBC, Orion, SDX, and Block Invest supporting issuance and lifecycle management, settlement, CBDCs, and stablecoins, DLT market infrastructure. The Eurosystem brand wholesale CBDC experiments between May and November 2024, processing over 200 transactions worth about 1.6 billion euros to test interoperability between target services and DLT platforms for security settlement, including digital bonds. Right? So XRP and Ripple have been planted in Europe from day one, chasing institutional deals and the securities angle. What makes it interesting is the XRP ledger's interoperability works like a universal adapter for all these various systems. The European Investment Bank has issued multiple digital bonds, including a 100 million euro bond in 2025. That settles in wholesale CBDC tokens issued by Banque de France DSL3, demonstrating atomic delivery versus payment in central bank money. Commercial banks are complementing this with the tokenized deposits on-chain cash solutions. For example, HSBC has rolled out a tokenized deposit service in Europe and hosts digital bond issuance on its Orion platform, while Luxembourg positions itself as a hub of such activity. Does talk about global tokenized bond and treasury trend outside Europe. Tokenized U.S. treasuries have surpassed roughly $7 billion in assets under management in 2020, up more than 250% year over year, with nearly 50 products across multiple chains. Large asset managers such as BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and Fidelity now run tokenized treasury funds. BlackRock's Build a Fund issued on public blockchain has gathered well over 1.7 to 2 billion and is accepted as collateral for major trading venues, signaling serious integration in mainstream markets. How close are we to the new financial system? Today's reality is a hybrid. Tokenized bonds typically clear through existing CSDs and custodians, Clearstream, Euroclear, SIS, etc., while using DLT for issuance, lifecycle events, and sometimes on-chain cash settlement. The full parallel listing of both digital and traditional exchanges, and there's some mention in here about regulatory sandboxes spanning the next 5 minutes. Then I stumbled across this post from Watcher Guru. It claims Justin EU accelerates plans for digital euro stablecoin with potential rollout on Ethereum and Solana. So naturally I thought, wait, is this even real? Let me fact check this thing. No, this is not accurate to say the digital euro will be on Ethereum Solana. At this stage, it's only being considered amongst multiple options. No final decision has been made. Appreciate that, Watcher Guru. Now let me show you something here, because none of this just appeared overnight. We could dig back years into the archives, but check out this clip where the IMF is discussing it. Take a listen to this. Thank you so much, Kristalina, for those introductory words. The topic of the panel is the tokenization of the financial system. And of course, being at the International Monetary Fund here, it is the international financial system that we have in mind. We're really looking at the entire international financial system. Pull up the IMF High Legal Advisory Group on Finance and Technology. Who do you spot in there? Jeremy Allaire from Circle is sitting at that table. DTCC's got their spot. Europeans from every corner showing up. You've got Ripple represented. Monetary Authority of Singapore is there. The IMF itself. Notice who's actually getting invited into the room. Yeah, Circle and Ripple aren't lurking outside hoping for scraps. They're inside. They're part of the actual discussions. Honestly, what I wouldn't give to secretly listen in on what goes down in those rooms. Now look at what Robinhood's been doing. Their growth has been absolutely wild. Robinhood stocks tokenized live in the EU Explore 400 stocks, tokens linked to the US stocks and ETFs getting started for as little as €1. And here's another big development. Securitize gets EU greenlight plans to tokenize securities platform on Avalanche. Here's something you need to remember. This was never about one single blockchain taking over everything. Every piece of this tech puzzle has to connect and communicate. Avalanche is going to matter. Stellar is going to matter. XRP, Solana, Ethereum. The whole lineup plays a part in what's building. We need this multi-chain reality. Shoving everything onto one platform, that's just not realistic. Here's the thing though. Imagine if we did put it all on one system, and something catastrophic happens to it. The entire market freezes instantly. Total shutdown. That single point of failure is exactly why diversification across chains isn't optional. So I've mapped out how Ripple and XRP are connecting across Europe. This should give you some solid reference points for your research and keep you in the loop. Across Europe, Ripple and XRP are now plugged into payments, tokenization and policy conversation around the digital euro and Mecca, but they are not EU's official rail or CBDC platform. The picture is a mix of live bank payment quarters, early tokenization pilots, XRPL, and advisory roles with CBDC focus groups like the Digital Euro Association, Core Europe UK Payment Rails, Ripples on Demand. Liquidity is being used or integrated by European banks such as Santander and UK's Base Standard Charter for cross-border corridors, cutting settlement times up to 90% and reducing pre-funded